Hi. For those that don't know me, I'm Virginia Walden. I'm an executive burnout coach. Prior to starting my coaching practice, I spent 24 years in the banking and finance industry, where I worked my way from teller at a small community bank to senior vice president of a $27 billion bank, reporting directly to the chief risk officer. I'd love to tell you I did everything right and it was easy peasy, but that's not true, right? So now I take all the things I've learned from my experience and I help other women in risk management roles learn to continue to excel and be the rock stars that you are that got you where you are in your corporate career, but do it a little smarter and without making the same mistakes I did so you can actually be more effective, more efficient, and have greater success without wearing yourself ragged and running yourself down. Um, I love to joke that I used to be like, why am I doing this? I could go work at Target. It's my happy place. Um, but that's not the answer. So I'm here to help you do it a little bit easier and with more grace than I did. So that's why today we're talking about if you're constantly tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, run down, whatever word works best for your situation. And how is that affecting your productivity? Odds are it is, right? If you're not firing at 100% because you're tired, you can't get a good night's rest. Um, you can't get away to let your mind shut down. When you hit the pillow, your mind's still going 120 miles an hour. Not that you should be driving that fast, but you get my point. You're constantly go, 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 mentally and physically, and it's not sustainable. And before you say, you don't know my boss, Virginia, I'm going to challenge you on that, but we'll get to that in a minute. Um, you physically can't go. I kind of chuckle when I hear people say, oh, I thrive on stress. Okay. Yes. Our nature and our bodies are built to react to stress, right? Think about it. When we were hunter gatherers, if you didn't react to the stress of a lion, a bear, a tiger, oh my, you died, right? You needed to react to that stress quickly and get away, right? Fight or flight in a stressful situation. The building's on fire. You feel like you're in danger, right? We live in times where, you know, unfortunately, there are those realities. As kids, if you're my generation, we practiced fire drills, right? They set off the alarm to create that stress so we knew how to react, right? Today, kids probably are practicing, active shooter drills and they simulate to create that stress so they know how to react. But you don't live in that constant state, okay? Our bodies are built for it to be short term for our benefit, not long term consistent. It eventually will wear down, right? Not to mention, stress creates cortisol. And ladies, if you're my age, you got to be really cognizant of where cortisol lands. Yeah, that little mama pooch, that little belly fat. I used to see those ads and be like, pfft. Now I'm like, I think I got to worry about that a little bit. So if you want to put aside your health risk, think about the vanity risk for a minute, right? If you're constantly under stress, you're going to pack on some pounds. Personally, I'm a stress eater. So in stressful situations, I make really poor food choices. That doesn't help either. But your body needs rest for physical and mental well-being. And if you're not doing that, you're not giving your body, your mind that break, you are not bringing your A game. I hate to tell you. And I get it. I've been there. Do the words come out of your mouth? Sure, I can do that. Let me help you with that without even thinking, right? It's just like, thank you. Yes, I'll do more. Yes, let me help. And then you get back to your desk or you get home or you walk away and you're like, I really shouldn't have done that. I really don't have time. But we want to help. We want to take care of everybody. We want to solve, right? Your team is stressed. You take on something from that individual because you don't want them to experience it, which is great as a leader that you're there to help and support. But you have to balance. You have to do it so that you're not burning yourself out. Short term, maybe the end of this month you've got board meetings, so you got to crunch. Okay, I get it. That's how our bodies are built, short term. But it can't be your standard status and your standard process. Um, you will see deteriorations in your quality of work will go down. You will not be as focused. You will miss things. You will not be as creative in finding solutions to issues. Your efficiency rate, because you're moving at a slower pace, or you're worried because you're tired, I have to double check myself that I didn't miss something, right? That goes down. And I don't know about you, but when we're under stress and we're tired and we're just can't take it anymore, do you get a little snippy? Maybe a little snappy? You know? That's not going to improve your relationships with your peers. And guess what? It's going to impact your relationships outside of work. Yeah. What's the old adage? Granted, it's a little outdated for today's society, but gentleman gets yelled at by the boss at work, comes home, yells at the wife yells at the kid kicks the dog, right? Do you see how that stress went right down? Maybe you're the boss in that scenario and you yelled at your employee, and then wow, you impacted their dog and child. That's not what you wanted, right? You need to take the breaks. You need to mentally disconnect. I'm not saying go get a massage, a facial, a pedicure. If that allows you to mentally disconnect, great. I spoke with a woman one time who said she would go for a massage with whatever frequency it was. She spent the whole time worrying about the emails building up. That wasn't disconnecting. That wasn't relaxing. That wasn't self-care, right? Years ago, I took a vacation, shocking, and I picked the resort because they had a process, a rule rather, that they restricted your wireless device activity to your room and to a parking lot and one other common area. And I knew as a risk person, I follow the rules. I make sure others follow the rules. I would follow the rule. I could not self impose my own rule on me, though. So that's why I picked that particular resort. And so I killed myself. I was in the office till 10:30 the night before Thanksgiving because I was going on vacation the following week to get my inbox cleaned, everything done, touched, and I did. I think I had one, maybe two emails sitting in my inbox when I went home that night. And of course, then, until I got on the plane, I kept checking email. But I disconnected for 6 days. 6 days, I didn't check any work emails. I had told my team if they needed me, they could text me, but realize it's going to be a slow response because I have to turn my phone off. And I may have gotten one and just quick pointed them in the direction, but that was it. I had over 300 emails in my inbox when I got back. Yeah, 300 sitting there waiting for me. And obviously more were coming in every day. But one, the OCC didn't shut down the bank while I was gone and out of pocket. Oh my gosh, it survived. I was so more mentally relaxed and focused. I cleared 90% of those emails in one day because I could focus, I could prioritize, get the noise out, not get hung up on it, and boom, 90% in one day. Now, just think if you had a regular habit of taking a couple days to just disconnect. I don't know, maybe call them Saturday and Sunday, where emergencies happen. Yes. The building catches on fire. You have a teammate have a horrible accident or get very ill or some sort of family tragedy. Yes, you need to react. You need to respond, right? That doesn't happen that often. Hopefully, you never experienced the latter any of those examples. So, yeah, you have to react. But 99% of the time, what we think is an emergency really isn't. Yes, a major data breach you're going to have to address quickly. That's an emergency. But guess what? If they're happening often, you're not going to stay in your job. So don't tell me those are regular. The other thing to keep in mind is, as we say, it's an emergency and I have to respond, and you don't know my boss, Virginia. Listen, I've had good and I've had crappy bosses. I had a boss who thought nothing of texting me at 8:00 at night or 7 in the morning, right? And I'm like, I can't be on 24/7. And here's the mistake I made with that boss. I didn't ask for clear expectations. Hey, when you send me something at 8:00 at night, do you really expect me to respond immediately? Or is the next day fine? Again, lives are not at stake with these issues. But I wasn't secure enough in my own abilities and confident enough in my position and really in myself. I was doing the job. I really was. But it was my own self-doubt that kept me from asking that question. And I learned next time I had a boss who was all of a sudden blowing up my inbox at 7 a.m. and I'm still, finishing my morning workout and getting ready because I didn't get in the office till 9, which is fine. I asked him, I said, what is your expectation? Because you're blowing up my inbox at 7 a.m. Are you expecting me? So I can because then I also had a peer. I go, so-and-so is emailing me at 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to be in bed by then. Do you have an expectation that that's what you expect from your team? Because she'd been on his team longer. He goes, no, that's because she leaves at 3:00 to go deal with stuff with her child. And then she gets back on in the evening after she's addressed that. And that's fine. That's what meets her total needs as a person. And he goes, and I work best at 7 in the morning. So that's when I do it and I can get it done and I can focus before I get distracted with meetings. No, I do not expect you to be responding to everything immediately. Okay, great. I knew I worked best if I had a workout and meditation before I got into my work. It gave me the mental clarity I needed to perform at my best. You've got to have the confidence to have those conversations. You know your stuff. You got to where you are for a reason. Ask the question. Don't assume. Don't assume that you need to respond immediately, that you need to respond on the weekend. Ask. And if they say yes, then adapt. Say, okay, how do I meet their expectations, but make sure I have time to shut down so I can be my best? Remember, if you saw lower efficiency, reduced productivity, lower customer satisfaction scores, reduced employee engagement scores, you would be flipping the dashboards to like orange and red. Right? You would. But here, you're letting those things happen in your own life. And you're not stopping to put in a remediation plan. You wouldn't let that happen at work. And guess what? What's the consequence if you don't address these issues in your own life? Poor relationships with coworkers and family and your friends, right? Weight gain. And your comp could be affected because your performance is going down. So the whole reason you're doing this probably is for your comp, and you're putting it at jeopardy by not taking the time to say, listen, I need a break. I can't continue to operate in this mode. And here's worst case. I would do that. I did that. You know what happened? I fell asleep in traffic. I rear-ended the car in front of me and they pushed them into the car in front of them. Yeah, thankfully nobody was seriously hurt, right? But now I've got more to deal with: police reports, accident reports, insurance claims, getting my car to the body shop, worrying what the impact is going to be on my insurance rates. I was like 2 hours late to work. They had to shut down the highway for 10 minutes to get us all to the other shoulder. My colleagues were in traffic behind me. Meanwhile, And I get it. I had texted my boss, I was in an accident, I'm going to be late. He didn't see it. I walk in that morning, finally in front of my computer. He's emailing me, I need all this ASAP. Never saw the text. So I get the crappy boss thing. Eventually he saw, he was like, oh my God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Goose egg on my head. Um, so there are real consequences for not getting the rest. Hopefully you don't experience that. And trust me, I've had other colleagues do the same thing. And they were coming home later at night. They were going a lot faster. Thankfully, they were okay. Because you don't want to be the one to cause the accident and hurt somebody. Forget about the annoyance of insurance claims and scheduling body work, or worst case, having a new car shop. There are real consequences. Take your risk-based approach. Identify these and mitigate them. Okay? Not to mention, what you do is what your team will follow. So if they see that that's you and they're not comfortable asking and setting those expectations, they are going to continue to mirror your behavior, and you're feeding the problem and you're putting them at the same risks that you're imposing on yourself. Now, if you've got a whole team that's got lower productivity and lower efficiency and isn't the team that anybody wants to work with, that is now reflecting on you. So, wow, I feel like I've been the bearer of bad news for the last 15 minutes, but hopefully you understand why. Now you've got to do it. It's not negotiable. It's not selfish. Ask questions so you've got clear expectations. Remind yourself, just like you wouldn't go on vacation without a charger for your phone or tablet, right? You probably have one in your car, one in your office, multiple in your house. You need a charger. Whatever it is, it might be different for you. How you mentally refresh, because we're all different. Some people, it's time in nature. One of my neighbors is camping. That sounds awful to me. Maybe that works for you. Maybe it's a hike. Maybe it is, vegging out with, your favorite thing on Netflix or whatever streaming service you use to binge watch, and it just lets you disconnect. Maybe it's church. Maybe it's just quiet, an hour or with a good book that's not work related, not trying to teach you anything, just enjoyable, and a glass of wine, right? Whatever works for you. And if you're not sure how to find that, I'm here to help. So if you're like, this makes sense, but I don't know where to start, Virginia, raise your hand. I'm here to help you. Drop me a comment, send me a message. Check out my website, virginiawalton.com. Let me help you be more productive and less tired all the time. Again, virginiawalton.com, and drop me a note when you're ready for help. Be well.